Okay, welcome to a capital hungry breakdown of GBPUSD. So the previous GBP CAD video is a little bit longer, so just reflect on that because we really talked about the optimism and all the hope slash promises that came from Boris Johnson. First of all, his whole Christmas thing, right, where he said he'll get Brexit done by Christmas or as like a Christmas gift. And don't forget his promises to the micro economy from tax rebates, promising more job increases, promising more like funding available for certain programs, really stuff to promote himself to the micro economy and get those votes long term, right? So you have a lot of this optimism running around the sterling, but we just want to note that the USD has seen strength and the dollar has been very strong. So at the same time, you've had this fundamental indecision tug of war, and just for weeks, you've had price stuck in this tight range. It's a very tight range, and this is a very strong support because you've had weeks of data fail to close below these levels. And just this candle here closing without a bottom wick is signaling to me a lot of buyer pressure and very little order flow to the downside. And especially this candle here having no wick at all for now, right? It's too early into the week to see if we have any pressure because we are at this sort of sell zone where you see price. The same thing you're seeing on the bottom, you're seeing at the top, that this is a very tight range that price has been playing in for weeks, right? What's most ideal, for this pair would literally be getting ready for the next month or just coming into the new year and waiting for a breakout with the fundamental confluences for it, because we are very bullish and it does look like we could come test the top of this range with an even higher coming into the new year, but we just want to see how that runs. So what's key to note with the market structure in the higher time frame is the change. Sorry, I just want to see what this headline is. Is a change in the higher lows and the impulsive movements, and we've already had pretty much a full correction here, right, of this impulsive move to the downside. And the way price broke through the seller sensitivity area here is showing me there's a lot of buyer's pressure, and especially how it's holding these levels. Just because we are in that indecision point with Brexit, USD is in that tug of war with trade war, and then sometimes it just has very weak data, right? Or you had the Fed signaling that weakness, saying they're not going to increase rates until inflation jumps back. You just want to keep all that in mind. With there still being pressure on Brexit though, and the potential for trade war relief to continue, we could see a lower wick made on the weekly. Like there's a potential that can at least come make a wick, right? Unless price on the daily candle already starts to break above these areas of interest, and you're really looking at it, which we haven't had yet, right? It's still in this tight range. You still have price respecting this this tight range here, showing that exhaustion every time it gets there. So for an intraday trader, this is like a dream, right? Because like you can just ping pong this range for days, weeks, if you play it correctly and just wait patiently for the bottom and the top of the range when you're looking at like the 4 hour, for example, right? You have so many candle signals to wait and just hold this for a day, and go back and forth. Of course, that's great, and it does look like we're going to come back to the top of this range with how price is looking. But we would need this, and this is also what's great about this. When you have ranges created that's so tight like this, right? You know, price is respecting these solid areas. Once you do have that one-sided fundamental volatility that validates price to break lower or break higher, you know it's going to be a big move because you had so much liquidity generated for weeks, and now investors are all going to ride out that higher time frame move that has the one-sided fundamental decision. So whether that be the USD weakens because China says, you know what, we're not playing Mr. Nice Guy anymore. We're tired of this shit. Let's just say Hong Kong gets fixed. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Hong Kong's chill. In simplest terms, Hong Kong's chill. Let's take these guys out now. I'm tired of going to these guys' demands, doing whatever they want to do. Right? They want to tax us 15% December. All right, we're gonna retaliate back now. Right? Because Trump is keeping Trump is keeping the whole Hong Kong thing as a playing card now for himself, and he still has an announcement about that he has yet to reveal. And this was supposed to be on Friday, so he's playing that game, right? But that's the vicious nature of this game overall. It's crazy. It's crazy how unethical people how unethical the people that run our economies and world are. Like, it's vicious. You know how many people have been getting you know how many people have made like millions and billions of dollars off the market during this pump and rally, and how many have been on the opposite side of that, just losing jobs, and it's crazy. But anyways, back to the topic here. Once we do have that fundamental validation, let's just say the trade war escalates, USD really weakens. Let's just say USD's GDP in the middle of the week is bad, right? So that reinforces the pressure from the Fed to hold on increasing rates until data improves, right? And let's just say Boris keeps making more promises and the election relief hype holds for GBP. Once you have that validation in the break of this 1.30 flat area here, you know you have that range play up to the next higher time frame zone, because there's nothing really in the way until 1.31, right? Like I've been looking at these top supply levels here. I'll be looking at this top range here at least, and then this will be my next main level. Right? Because you have so much, because this is noise, and price will face sensitivity in there, and you'll see it ranging on the 1 hour and the 4 hour and the intraday levels. But this is so much liquidity generated that once it has that breakout validation, it should have a pretty impulsive move on the higher time frame, like a daily candle similar to this. Right now, though, specifically for this pair, because both pairs are seeing relief, it's in this range, right? During New York, it might run stronger for the US side. During London, it might run stronger for the GBP side, or the inverse, right? It just really depends on the market health, how price is running in this range, and if there's any validation to make this, like, I think about it like a scale, like a scale where you like a balance scale, where you can put like a rock on one side, a rock on the other side, it'll tilt a bit, right? That's how I visualize these pairs. And right now, this pair is balanced. And for a trader, you don't want balance. You want one side of the scale tipping more in one favor, right? You want more weight, more validation on one side. I'm waiting to see what's going to be stronger, GBP or USD in this pair. And then once we have that fundamental validation, you're going to have that technical breakout, right? Otherwise, this is still playing in this range. You know what I mean? Because like I showed you guys, because of the global relief points, because of relief points for GBP and US, like both markets are running well. Both economies are showing some rebound points. Like the FTSE 100 is still doing fairly well, right? The US markets are doing great. Boris is starting to tweet and say the same shit like Trump's saying. Like if we just got this fixed, we would have so much relief. Our economy would be booming. Our jobs would be increasing. Like he's starting to become more aggressive too with the social presence, and it has an impact on the markets. Like the promise he made about all the tax stuff, all the benefits for middle class working people, and the promise he made for like this whole Brexit by Christmas. It completely erased people's memory that this shit was supposed to be done by October 31st. You know what I mean? Like that's fucked up. That's how this news and mainstream media and these politics work. It completely erased that this issue is so ongoing. It was supposed to be done a month ago. Never mind another month now till Christmas. It just looks good like Brexit on Christmas. Right? That's 2 months past the date it was supposed to be done. If you really think about the actual logic, it's not a good thing. It's crazy though, right? Like how they, right? Like Trump's, like this whole phase 1 thing was supposed to be done like 3 weeks ago. Signed. Start of November is supposed to be done. They were supposed to do it at the Chile summit. That got canceled. That was just a location, right? That shouldn't have been a reason to stop signing of this deal. Something's up here. Like, why do they keep talking about it every other day, every session? We get a tweet from the U.S. side and a tweet from the China side, right? I think they're aggressively setting up price for the coming year because that's how these institutions and countries, they're forecasting for profits for the years to come. You know what I mean? So I think they might be setting that up because with the economic cycle and with the way data has been, like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy how they can keep amping up these markets and fluffing up these markets on nothing, right? Because otherwise, why would the Feds cut the rates 3 times already, and Trump wants negative rates, right? So that's why this pair has bad indecision and it's tough to play. But if you're smart and you understand, if you're smart and you can read the day-to-day indecision, meaning you can understand, and when you visualize that scale, you can say, okay, GU is still balanced, right? GU is still neutral. GBP is strong right now for these 4 reasons, and USD is strong for these 4 reasons, right? I'm going to continue to play this range. If I get the candle signals and exhaustion at the top and no validation to break higher, I'm going to continue to play and see if I can get some exhaustion here. If I get a bounce off this level and no validation to break lower, it's still balanced. I'm going to ping pong this. And the last GU analysis was that. The last GU analysis was when like price was only here and we had these 2 areas created. And I was saying, like, unless you have validation, you're just going to have price range and do the same thing that GJ was doing. Except GJ is getting some more one-sided volatility now, right? GJ should see some more upside if the yen continues to deflate with all these forced trade war relief headlines, right? All yen pairs should see some upside. AUD would see some more, USD would see some more, of course, but GBP with its Brexit relief plus yen getting deflated that way should see that same impact, right? But for some reason, these pairs are still stuck in some of these tight ranges. So just that plus the technical buildup of price and the fact that these politicians keep pumping out these headlines is like so fishy to me. What's going on here? But yeah, so I can send a better labeled chart. I'm going to label the higher time frame zones that I'm interested in for areas of interest. But of course, you can clearly see what GU is doing right now on an intraday perspective for days, right? For weeks. I do like how this candle closed above our key area of interest though, and the previous one closed out a bottom wick and almost engulfed or fully corrected it, right? I want to see if we can pull back and still maintain the structure. And the weekly still has no lower wick, but we could see price potentially just range in here. So just be cautious of that unless we have validation for the one-sided volatility. It would have been great if GBP was still lagging behind. UK markets were still lagging behind, and data, it was still working on the data, and there weren't these Brexit relief points. Then you would see that downside. You would have saw a downside break and price probably retest like 1.26 already, like from last week and into this week, just because of all the one-sided optimism US side has had, right? But they've both been in that optimistic state. Okay, so I'm gonna save this. If you guys got any questions and stuff, unmute yourself or ask now. If that all makes sense, let me know. You can always rewatch it. Don't forget to watch the previous weekly outlooks you can just find. See, and this is what's tricky too, that it's still mixed even in the retail sentiment, right? They're still just playing the ranges, but most are long. So they might get shaken out one more time before price does pull up. If you guys got any questions, if that all makes sense, let me know. GJ? Yeah, I'll do like a separate GJ video, probably. Because I'm just going to send this plus a chart, and then GJ's still the same as like my last analysis, I think. I know I've probably deleted it here. Yeah, I did. But I still think GJ has some room for upside, but what do you want me to see on it? The page itself? Oh, retail open short. This is based off the COT reports too, right? Because I've seen these from COT report readings too. That's a good source. All right, guys, I'm going to end this and then stop recording and send it over.